So it's been a while since I've actually talked about My Hero Academia, and I do apologize that, but holy hell, I needed to talk at least about like the couple of chapters that we have been getting and the whole conclusion of personally what I think is the best arc in the entirety of Academia. The whole sane little like saga that we just had. Holy fucking hell, this stuff was incredible, and I mean really thought-provoking, really deep, incredible. Now, one thing that can be definitely said throughout some of these chapters that we've been happening is like we kind of like found out a little bit more about Stain's thoughts, like his ideology, like going throughout that, like as like because I'm going to be talking about like the past, sort of glance through the two chapters and talk about the recent one as well, 57. But how like that entire fight ended, like you had Endeavor there, you had like Gran Torino, you had all these people, and people were trying to like fuck with Deku, trying to take him like that, and Stain just takes him. He's saying, "This is my prey. This is my stuff that I'm doing it," and he actually put fucking fear into Endeavor, into Torino, and when he started spreading his ideology, may I remind you, he was doing this while he was burnt to fucking crisp. His ribs were fucking smashed open. He's lost so much blood, and he's still doing this, and he's like, no one else can pass his judgment apart from me, like taking out his so-called like allies, and he's talking about like how like the justice system as well is twisted and provoked, and it's like you don't even know how like true like justice is. You're hypocrites, and it's just like I'm listening to this, and it's just like he's very political, like basically like I feel like this is what happened if like real life society, if we actually had someone kind of like, because you know how like some people try to get into their own thing, like they're trying to into their own way of justice, kind of like it reminds me a bit of like Dexter Morgan from Dexter, where he would actually go out and like kill people. It honestly feels a lot like that, where he would just do it through his own doing, and it's just like I find that like can you really relate to the guy like that? Like he was honestly trying to do in his own ideals what he felt was best, and honestly like that's where the thing like you can kind of relate with Dexter, like in that show, is that he can definitely do that, and with Stain, like you can see what he's doing. I mean, obviously he's doing it in the wrong way, but it's like even still like he wants to clean up the world and he wants to do that for him, but his ideology twisted, and we found out later on that he actually was part of the academy, I believe, like, and I'm gonna absolutely butcher his fucking name, but apparently his name was Agoro Chizume, which, yeah, when we found out about when like the whole thing was on the news, he got passed out, and I gotta say, passing out, standing up on your beliefs, that's some white bitch shit right there. That right there, especially even to the very bare end, he was screaming, he was like shouting out saying, you know, the only person in this world that's allowed to kill me is Almighty. It's like absolutely screaming it. And I'm here thinking, this is fucking, like, this is amazing. Like, he stood up, and I felt like, do you know what also stood up there? His beliefs. Because he's now got people mixed. Like, that's one thing that, like, and that's the thing, he wasn't a villain. He was an antagonist, yes, he wasn't, but the thing is, though, he wasn't a villain. He wasn't out there just to destroy people. He was out there trying to make out of his own way of just, well, is he doing it in the wrong way? Yes, he is, but it's like, people that are, like, you know, half-minded or only thinking of themselves, and that's why Ida got there. It's like, he's not there, he's thinking about his own justice, not about saving the citizens, and that's why Ida got fucked up. That's why he got there, and that's sort of people like Ida is what people that make Stain that. It's like, they put their own thing into their own boots, and it's just like, honestly, I absolutely loved him throughout this entire thing. I thought he was an amazing antagonist, and he is what personally made like this. I honestly said, I think this is the best arc we've had so far in the series. I absolutely loved the tournament, but what they did, especially with every part of Stain in this little arc that we had, was fucking fantastic because of his whole ideology. He was on no one's side. He was doomed for what he felt that was best right, and that's what I love about that. And even when you have like sort of the chief inspector sort of talking to like Ida, Deku, Todoroki, and actually even talking to him and saying, you know, the things that you did were actually wrong, what you were doing, you weren't supposed to attack and you weren't supposed to do it, and they're saying like, what kind of messed up system is that when we're actually trying to save the guy? We're just supposed to let him get killed. So you can definitely see like now they're even kind of on the side like the whole thing that he was fighting for. And even as he's in a hospital bed, when the people that were just fighting with him are kind of agreeing with him on the way of the system. And even like the whole like chief of police as well, he even said, well, there wasn't very too many like witnesses there, so we can't really charge it. So he sort of let them off the hook with that, but he's kind of definitely saying you need to kind of learn from this. It's like, you do have to follow things from the book. You do have to do it in the way, like, and that's the hardest thing, and that's why, especially with the police as well. I mean, you got some dirty fucking, like, police and cops out there. Like, that's a fact. But if you really want to send people to, like, prison and you want to get justice, like, as much as hard it is, you see, like, people always getting out and out bullshit. Like, it's kind of teaching you need to stick to the books. That's the only way to keep to, like, true justice. And, like, and that's something where in Dexter, like, sort of like Dexter's father kind of lost that, and he's like, he kind of lost all hope and justice for that, and that's kind of what created Stain, like something like that, a situation that caused that. And honestly, it was a great fucking, like, this whole, like, couple of chapters was just absolutely amazing. The art was on point, not to mention as well what we saw as well with the whole thing with, like, we saw with All Might, and that was the whole thing which we found out, all for one, not one for all, like, all for one, which is this new baddie who's fucked up All Might, killed his mentor, also as well created that giant hole in his chest that we had from all this time. Now he can't even be the full person. So my guessing is that it's pretty much, it's like, obviously it's kind of a bit obvious saying, like, oh, it must be the opposite. Maybe, like, this one absorbs power for, like, you know, from other people, and maybe that's what actually made, because, like, from the sounds of it, it's like he's creating quirks. That's, like, sort of the thing what you can do. So maybe he's taking other people's quirks and adding them into other people. Like, that's maybe else he's doing, and just adding them into these, like, weird people that just got normal powers. So that's very interesting that he's got that, and I'd like to see that more, like, develop later on with, like, the villain that we got into it. But it's like, I did like Gran Torino's, like, you're gonna have to tell the kid. You're gonna have to tell him about the true origins, everything about All for One, everything about One for All as well. You need to tell him everything about that. And with the kind of the end of it, we kind of got with the whole Deku, Todoroki, and Ida thing, is like, Ida kind of vowed saying, like, I'm not even going to use this arm until I feel right, until I feel justice about this. It's like, I'm not going to use this. Like, in Deku, he's scarred from that shit. And I feel like if he, like, with that scar, that's going to be a clear reminder to him about everything that happened. And I think, especially as well, Deku, he's going to learn from that. And I think, like, he's got to understand, like, you know, yeah, you've got to follow the books as well. But remember, the books is not always right. Even though it's there, it's like, you know, people have their own sense of justice, and just, like, it's kind of trying to follow your own justice, but then trying to stick to the books as well. That's what I really enjoyed about this one. So, and not to mention as well that we got the new villains as well, like the Agents of Malice. Holy shit, they look fucking amazing. Some of them look like they're from, like, his previous work, Barrage, which I absolutely love. I thought that was a great thing, but it's like, it was great. Honestly, if I gave the whole arc overall, like, I'd give it like a 9, I think I would. Honestly, like, I didn't care too much for the Gran Torino training. Some of that felt really slow, and that's why I wouldn't give it a full out 10 out of 10. But the rest, with the whole ideology and the fighting in general, and just all of that going down, and not to mention adding all the comedy and all that you had with, like, Bakugo, with, like, you know, his teacher, like, you know, also Uraraka, like, all of that. Everyone got a nice development, everyone got their training, and I really enjoyed that. And I honestly think this arc and these whole chapters all added up together are just a 9. I honestly thought they were that amazing. And yeah, I want to get back onto weeklies, but, like, especially with Academia, it comes out at such horrible times, like, randomly. So I mean, that's kind of what I want to do. I mean, it's been a month since I've talked about it, but other than that, just I'm just blown away pretty much. That's just how great these chapters were. But that's all for me. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.